Yeah, so this is the follow-up teaching that requested by Hayagiwa Buddhist Center in Western Australia um, for me to offer, practical, teachings on the six paramita. So I've already gave the teaching on the foundational, the foundational teaching or the basis in order to, successfully able to practice the practice on six paramita, the teaching on compassion, the importance of compassion on the last recording. The compassion, play as a fertile ground where you can able to do the seeding of, practice of generosity. Then, so that we can able to, enjoy the fruitions of the rest of the paramita, all the way up to the qualities of the Buddha. You see, so without compassion, it's no way we can able to achieve the genuine practice of generosity. Without the great compassion, we won't able to achieve the practice of perfection of generosity. Without altruism, we won't able to achieve, all the qualities, the perfected qualities, perfection in six paramitas, perfection on 10 paramitas, perfection on all the major and minor marks or the qualities of the Buddha, which is, the most beneficial for the well-being of numberless sentient beings. So therefore, it is important for us to first, develop the fertile ground of compassion, which I have emphasized on the first recording. And this recording, I will be focusing on from the teachings of the six paramita. I'll be focusing on the first one, the paramita of generosity. Then, following the teaching will be focused on the rest of the 5 paramitas, such as the paramita of morality, paramita of patience, paramita of joyous effort, paramita of concentration, and paramita of wisdom. So before we go into the detailed teaching on this, first it is important to know the definition of these paramitas. So what is the definition of generosity? Generosity is the mind that gives without attachment. The mind of giving without attachment. So that is the definition, what it means by generosity. And when this practice of generosity, which is common to all the yanas, common to all the virtuous practices, but when it comes to Mayanic Dharma, then the Mayanic, the perfection practice of generosity, then that has to be introduced by the mind of great compassion. The mind of giving without attachment, that has to be in the concern of the well-being of numberless sentient beings, starting from the receiver of the generosity onward. So when it comes to how many, what type of generosities that we can practice, we can engage. So there are 3 types. The first one is the generosity of material gift. Second one is the generosity of Dharma, and third one is the generosity of protection from the fear. So especially today, I don't want to go through the elaborate scriptural commentaries. In this particular talk, asked me to focus to help or give thoughts during this difficult, time of the coronavirus pandemic that everyone is going through a very, very difficult time. In particularly, many parts of the world, observing lockdown, and people have to stay in home. Usually, would say, there's a lot of faults may occur, when we loses, the one's own individual, space. We, in particularly we human beings, are very much, habitual in self-centeredness, ego, and attachment grasping, and also full of wrong views, and the negative, and in particularly the negative emotions arises when we are unhappy, when we are experiencing pressure from negative circumstances, like now, the whole world, almost everyone, directly or indirectly affected, pressured by the negative circumstances, negative situation from this pandemic. And even though, we are with the family, staying at home, but there are a lot of pressure from, financial difficulties, one's own, personal space, intruding into one's own personal space, personal independency, and there are so many others, including the negative energy of fear in relation to this pandemic. So somehow, some way, our systems are quite down, and our and mentally, emotionally, many are experiencing quite low, and in many people's cases, they are unhappy. You see, so whenever there's unhappiness emotion arises in our mind, then where the negative emotion, the rest of the negative emotions also manifest. So in short, all the wrongdoings, and arising of negative emotions like frustration, anger, etc., is very much because of unhappiness. So therefore, if we don't have a very strict measure or the paramita, the boundary, where we make sure that we don't have that leakage, into faults, or we don't, making sure that, we don't go through the impact of this unhappiness or the negative environment. And the practice of six paramita, the understanding of six paramita, and engaging in the practice of six paramita is one of a perfect, boundary, one of the perfect seal, to our mind, to our body, to our speech, from the leakage of unhappiness, the leakage of negative emotion. So therefore, whether one staying alone, or whether one staying with the family members, or whether one is stuck anywhere else in the world, if we adopt the guidance and the paramita, or the practice of the six perfection, we can able to secure our inner peace. We can able to secure ourselves, from all the unhappiness, or the greater unhappiness and greater negativities. The practice of six paramita can able to protect us from disharmony within ourselves, disharmony among our family members, and disharmony towards the society. So when our mind is harmonious with the peace and virtue, we can able to focus on beneficial deeds. We can able to focus on virtuous deeds, such as loving kindness, compassion towards yourself, loving kindness, compassion towards your family members and rest of the society, like such as through engaging in the practice of generosity, like that. So so there's three types of generosity: of material gift, generosity of Dharma, and generosity of protecting from the fear. So generosity of material gift, when you are with your family members or any of the friends, or if you are staying alone yourself, then whatever you consume, whatever you consume, not only the foods but also electricity, the water, the space, everything can turn into a practice of a material gift. Everything we consume, we use without attachment, grasping, without clinging onto it, like clinging in the meaning that through the self-centered interest, rather we enjoy, rather we use the electricity, rather we use the water, we use the space in the house with the sense of gratitude to rest of the sentient being, in the sense of gratitude towards our past lifetimes accumulation of merit, just to have water to drink, just to have a space to stay in, just to have a room, in the family, just to have food to eat. All these are by result of past virtues, past meritorious deeds, accumulated individually by yourself as well as collectively. And most of all these virtues are collected in relation to sentient being, in relation to numberless other sentient beings, you see. So therefore, feeling sense of gratitude to the rest of the numberless sentient being, feeling sense of gratitude to the inspirational figures in our life, such as Buddhas, Bodhisattvas and gurus, and your virtuous aspirational figures, whoever they may be. So remembering of their kindness and feel gratitude, and you be generous in sharing those material gift with the rest of your family members, or sharing that with yourself, like your own body, from Buddhist understanding, minimum there's 84,000 living beings within our body, like those bacteria, good bacteria, like that. From the scientific point of view, if you look into our body, it could be billions of living beings in our body, you see. So not just being very narrow-minded, just thinking about one person, but rather think of this minimum 84,000 living beings in your body. You are sharing the space with them. You are drinking water, together with them. You are utilizing the electricity, with them, sharing with them. Feel very spacious. Feel your heart is open to so many others. Not just like yourself alone. You see. Then through the heart of kindness and compassion of such a sharing thought, accumulate much merit. Then you dedicate again for the well-being of yourself and the minimum of the 84,000 living beings and rest of the numberless sentient beings. If you are staying with the family, and you dedicate the merit to the rest of the families, you see. So we become instead of becoming inconvenient to the family, we become convenient to the family when it comes to sharing space. There's a sense of total sense of giving without attachment. If you are living in a small house and many number of family members out there, if we are not mindful, even where to sit, we may get into trouble of argument, of sense of losing one's space. But when you practice the practice of generosity, whenever people sit on your seat, whenever people eat your portion of food, whenever people occupy your personal space, either in relation to sound, either in relation to space or things, you feel happy. You feel happy because you feel that this is virtuous. You feel that this is sharing. You feel this is wonderful good human ethics, you see. So therefore, you see, the practice of material generosity will bring immense of platform of harmony and happiness and joy and giving, to yourself, to your family members, and then to rest of the humanity and rest of the sentient being, you see. So every single space that you experience, or every single experiences that you experience, you take into a path in cultivation of loving kindness, compassion, and the generosity is one of the phase of love, of kindness, of compassion, of altruism, you see. So therefore, you see, so you express the phase of compassion in being generous, yourself in the service of volunteer in cooking, you see. During staying at home, if you're staying alone, and sometimes you tends to kind of become so lazy until that you tends to feel lazy to cook, feel lazy to prepare a nice meal. You skip the meals, so then you stay hungry. And you see, when you think from the other point of view, when you are hungry, you are also making minimum 84,000 bacteria in your body hunger. If there's any effect that, a negative effect comes to your body, the minimum 84,000 living beings also suffer, because these bacteria, they depend on the survival of our body, and our body's survival of food and drink, the nutrition, you see. So therefore, that, even you're staying alone, you diligently, you happily, altruistically, you make a beautiful, wonderful, delicious, food, healthy food. You observe the eating of healthy for the benefit of your body, which is for the benefit of minimum 84,000 living beings in your body, and for the benefit of this precious human rebirth, this physical body as a vehicle to benefit the rest of the numberless sentient beings, through cultivation and developing the path of method and wisdom all the way up to becoming Buddha, so that you can able to benefit immensely. Even within this human lifetime, when your body is healthy, you can engage into social service, you can engage into service in alleviating suffering of many others, you see. So for that purpose, then even you're staying alone, you see, you are very disciplined in preparing a healthy food, eating on time. Then when your body is got a proper nutrition, that also affects our mind, you see. Then our mind, our body can be dedicated to perform much virtues, which is so beneficial for the, again, rest of the sentient beings, rest of the family members, you see. When we neglect our body, when we neglect our mind, health of our mind, health of our body, when we become, under the dominion of delusions, under the dominion of sicknesses, not only yourself suffer, but you also cause your family members to suffer. Without any choice, the family members will worry if your body is weak, or if you are suffering, either emotionally or physically, isn't it? So you see, so even taking care of your body and mind, you take that into a practice of the six paramitas, which is practice of being generous to take care of your body and mind, you see. So then when you live in the in a group, sometimes especially if someone is very lazy, it's very, very easy to get into trouble of arguments, disharmony, etc. And like in the practice of family, the chores at the house, like such as cooking, cleaning, etc. So we can integrate the practice of generosity, yourself happily volunteering, to prepare a meal. So if you don't know how to cook, then you learn. This is, but in particularly internet age, you can learn so many different type of cooking from internet, from YouTube, so you can explore different type of cookings, and you make delicious food to rest of your family members. When the rest of family member just to see that you are volunteering to cook, and you prepare exciting, amazing, healthy, and delicious, and amazing meals, surely that will bring so much happiness to the family members. And not only that, if you do this with even greater sense of the awareness of who the rest of the family members are, they are mother sentient being who equally want happiness and do not want any form of suffering, and who want ultimate happiness, and which is the peerless happiness of enlightenment. So then you dedicate, you motivate your cooking through bodhicitta. Then you dedicate the merit from this cooking, making happy your family members, making charity of this material gift of cooking, not only to the one family member, but then 84,000 living beings within their body, and whatever good deeds that they perform to the society, everything you dedicate in bodhicitta for the benefit of numberless sentient beings, temporary happiness after the ultimate happiness of enlightenment, you see. So, so you can do so many things like that. Then be generous of space, giving, be considerate, of others' space. That's also a practice of generosity. When others make unnecessary sound, then you protect your mind, giving that space to them, so that your heart do not get disturbed. At the same time, you cultivate the practice of generosity. You see, so you see. Then in our heart, be generous to think positive and think kindness. Be generous in that. When the rest of the family member, each and every one, engage with you negatively, then you be generous in forgiving them. Be generous in understanding, using the Dharma wisdom, in the concern of compassion, towards these family members that who are giving hard time to you. You see, so like that. Then, especially if you are with little children's or elderly, or if someone not well in the family, then it is a perfect opportunity for you to dedicate fully to serve them, take care of them, in every way that they need your help. You are volunteering to offer that help with total lacking of self-interest, completely sense of providing, giving, offering your best ability, in total concern of their well-being, you see. So yeah, so this way it will cause so much of virtue, so much of causes conditions of harmony, happiness in the family, like that. Then when you go out to the society, starting from your family, and going out to grocery, going out anywhere you go, and then including the social, physical social distancing measure, you be generous in observing these measures, in the concern of the well-being of yourself, minimum 84,000 living beings in your body, and for the well-being of the rest of the other people that you interact with them. Not taking these measures as a pressurized by authorities, or as kind of suffocating kind of experiences. Rather, you take this as an opportunity to cultivate and develop our heart. You see, so like that. Some families may have a garden. Then be generous of your time to offer services, care for the garden. And while you are in the garden, there are so many bacteria so many insects, worms are there, then be generous. Then you apply the be generous physically, of caring for them, be mindful to make sure not cause harm to their body, these germs and these flies. Be generous in planting water to the plant so that there will be beautiful flowers, so that the bees and the insects, they have abundance of foods, like that, you see. So there's so many ways. These are just few ideas. So when it comes to the Dharma, then, you see, whether you're alone or you're with family members or wherever you are, then, your heart filled with the cultivation of loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta, selflessness, emptiness, and all the different practices, then engage these practices with altruistic intention, then dedicate in altruistic intention, dedicate in bodhicitta and emptiness, so that it become immense of charity of Dharma, you see. Then when your speech completely filled with the recitation of accumulation of mantras, accumulation of sutras, reading Dharma books, you see, reciting mantras, then again you dedicate this to your family and rest of the humanity, the rest of the sentient being, you see. Then physically, engage in, be generous in doing preliminary practices, visualizing that your home as a Buddha's selection mentioned, your family members as a Dakinis, Buddha's children's, and of course sentient beings are the Buddha's children, you see. So then, as mentioned before, you engage all the different services in the concern of the well-being of them. Then not only that, then you engage in general physical practices like prostrations, making offerings. So when we talk about making offerings, not just offering on the altar, but making offerings to your family members through your cookings, etc. And not only in the material object, but then always have a what you call the peaceful look, cheerful look, and offer smiles, offer kind words, not just thinking kindly, but also offer, be generous in expressing gratitude of rest of family members, especially grandparents, parents, brothers, sisters. If we are living with them, then there are hundreds and hundreds of events that they have benefited you, and take the opportunity to express them, during this and that time, you have benefited me like that. Never to focus on the negative side, search for the positive benefits that you have received from them, even in our ordinary life. Then express the gratitude, you see, like that, you see. Like during Buddha's time, there's one beggar, when he encountered Buddha was passing by the road, and he asked Buddha, why I am so poor, why I have so much suffering, why I'm so poor materially as well as internally, the happiness, why I'm so poor. So Buddha says that it's lacking of merit, then he said, what is the solution? Then Buddha advised that engage in the practice of generosity. Then the beggar replied that I have nothing, and you ask me to engage in the practice of generosity. How? And Buddha says that you got your speech, you got your face, and your face you utilize to smile, offer a genuine smile, be generous in the smile. And you have a speech, be generous in speaking kind words to others. and you have your heart, your mind, and be generous in, thinking of others' quality, rejoicing others' merits, others' good deeds. So there's, cultivation of kindness, love, compassion. You say all this, you don't need material object to do so, and as long as you've been generous in doing that, your poverty will be overcome, and you will have an abundance of, material comforts, abundance of, happiness, abundance of the happiness, you see. So like that. So we too have our body, speech, and mind. That is the greatest asset, greatest tool that we can able to, accomplish the practice, the paramita of generosity. Then, you see, when you go to the garden or even in the house, you may encounter flies, you may encounter ants, especially if you go into the soil in the garden, lot of bacteria, a lot of bugs, a lot of flies. Then be generous in chanting, powerful mantras, like Shakyamuni Buddha's mantra, like Medicine Buddha's mantra. There are so many amazing mantras that even Gyabje Lama Subramji compile in those powerful mantras to bless the animals, bless anyone, like such an example. If you recite Medicine Buddha mantra just by reciting once to anyone, even to the bugs, the Medicine Buddha's promise is to bless them, to condition them, to prevent falling into three lower realms, hell realm, hungry ghost realm, animal realm, like that, you see. So abundance of practice of generosity we can do, you see. We can spend hours and hours in the garden and reciting mantras, we can spend hours in your room, but then there's a bucket of water that you recite plenty of mantra, and you blow to the water, then you plant the water into your plants. How many bacteria out there will be blessed with that, and you can go to the park, or you can just go to your garden, make abundance of charity of bless grains, feed the birds, so you have buckets of grains where you can accumulate the recitation of powerful mantras, like just Medicine Buddha mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. Then you blow to the grain, then you put outside in the garden, the birds will eat it, or the birds will be not only satisfied with the material gift, but also satisfied with the Dharma gift, the blessing, you see. So like that. So when you are in a garden, you just take a moment, maybe for 1-2 minutes, looking into the plants, looking into the sky, and looking into the different flies and bugs, and just reflect on the ultimate true nature of them, the emptiness of the plant, emptiness of the sky, emptiness of the different colors of the flower, emptiness of the different type of the flowers, emptiness of different bugs, and reflect on the lack of inherent existence, or the interdependent existence of all this existence that you are encountering. You see, you are giving amazing Dharma charity, you see. So when you recite those mantras, you are giving extensive Dharma charity, you see. You recite Heart Sutra, you're giving essence of all the Buddha's teaching, the Wisdom Sutra, to all these bugs, And not only that, there are numberless spirits and formless beings, everywhere, you see. So whenever you spend your time reciting mantras and meditating on the Dharma, cultivating practices with altruistic intention, altruistic motivation, you're always giving Dharma charity, Dharma generosity, you see. Then when we talk about the generosity of protection from the fear, yes, just giving material gift as well as the Dharma gift itself also become generosity or protecting from the fear. You see, fear of hunger, protecting from the fear of hunger, protecting from the fear of falling into three lower realms, by offering the Dharma, etc. You see. Then of course, physically, when you meet someone, if they are in danger, then you guard them, you protect them. If you are in the garden, if one bug is about to be killed by other bugs, then you protect them. You see, there's bugs that there's certain birds coming and may eat. You find a way to help them, protect them from such kind of fear. You see, then more than that, during this pandemic time, you see, wherever we go, wherever we are, we try to keep high level of hygiene, including all the medical experts advise for us to like protecting while we are coughing, etc. You see, so when you are taking strict measure on that, you protect others, fear of getting transmitting sicknesses, even in case if you are experiencing that kind of sicknesses. If not, just protecting yourself, you at least you bring protection to many others, like your family members and many others. You see, so taking full measure, contracting any form of diseases, in particularly contagious diseases, especially you do that with the altruistic intention, you have to protect many others, starting from your family members, etc., like that. So in short, if we take the practice of generosity, it will bring immense of happiness to yourself, immense of happiness to your family members and people and sentient beings who come in contact with you, you see. And the practice of generosity, as mentioned before, like play as a fertile seed, that which will grow to all the higher qualities, rest of the paramita, practice of paramita, all the way up to the qualities of the Buddha. You see, so if individual able to practice generosity well, we accumulate a lot of merit, and as well as we have abundance of conducive condition for us to observe pure the practice of perfection of morality, the subject that which I will talk on the next teaching. So thank you. So this teaching on the six paramita is extensive teaching. No way we can able to cover everything what we want to say, and in fact I'm supposed to record only within 30 minutes, and with the obstacle of my mumbling, obstacle of my poor English, and also try to grab everything, which is not possible, but then there's some ideas in there, and I hope for some of you it may be beneficial. Then if it's not, then I'm sorry. Yeah, so thank you. Bye bye.